What's up, college football fans, quarterback fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. Today we're talking about LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. What can you expect from him in 2023? What do you expect from him in 2023? And I'm going to dive in and talk about kind of what I expect or my expectations are in 2023 as he continues to take that next step. And for anyone, if this is your first time watching, thanks for tuning in. We're just a big quarterback hub. We put out quarterback content on a weekly basis. We have quarterback interviews with current and former college quarterbacks, pro quarterbacks, and as well as having college coaches come in and just give their insight on the quarterback position. But we also have content like this. We talk about, what's currently going on in college football. So if you like that type of content, consider subscribing, liking the video, all that stuff. So today, Jayden Daniels, what can you expect from him in 2023? Well, I think 2022, he played pretty damn good, right? I know there were some things you want him to improve on, but overall, as a quarterback and just as a football player, had a really good season. He's one of the best, if not the best, returning quarterback in the SEC right now, right? You have a few other guys that you could talk about, whether it's KJ Jefferson or Will Rogers, but returning-wise, he's up there in the top 1 or 2 or 3, and I expect him to be up there by the end of the season. I still expect him to have the potential to be the best quarterback in the SEC, especially if he takes these steps that we're expecting him to take, then he's going to be right up there. Now, if you watch some of our old stuff, I'm really high on Devin Leary. I think he could be the best quarterback in the SEC as well, but let's take the video, Jayden Daniels. So what do I expect from him? Well, number one, and I think this goes hand in hand with the rest of the expectations, but I expect him to let plays develop more. I expect him to be able to sit in the pocket longer, not take up as quickly, and let some of those downfield throws develop. I think that's going to lead to several things. I think it's going to lead to a higher yards per attempt throwing the football. He was at 7.5 right around, I believe, last year. I expect that number to be higher. 8.5, even higher if you can, right? That tells me if that number is higher, that he's staying in the pocket, the play is developing, and he's not taking off too soon. It's a blessing and a curse when you're such a good athlete like Daniels, because you're like, man, I can pick up this first down with my legs, right? I can escape the pocket, which and a lot of times it does happen, but sometimes it can lead to a sack, and sometimes it can lead to missing a potential open throw that's going to lead to even a bigger play. So with that said, high yards per attempt, and that's going to be because of his ability to sit in the pocket, let plays develop, and let it rip more, right? Trusting his downfield potential, which he has. He's got a strong arm. I put out videos of Daniels before, breaking down his film, showing the ability to do that. So now it's just repeating that ability, right? So that goes hand in hand, right? Not taking off too early goes hand in hand with pushing the ball downfield, yards per attempt. Another expectation I expect him to continue to take care of the football, something he did a fantastic job of last year. He only had 3 interceptions, the 17 passing touchdowns, so that was nearly a 6-to-1 TD to interception ratio, which is outstanding. And while 3 interceptions may be hard to beat this year, maybe he has 4, maybe he has 5, whatever it may be, I still expect him to take care of the football despite pushing the ball downfield even more. I think that's a big part of his game. That was a big part of why LSU was able to win some of the closer games, because they didn't give the ball to the other team. So I expect that to happen again in 2023 as he becomes better passer from the pocket, as he is letting the plays develop. I still expect him to take care of the football. Even if he has a few more interceptions, I expect that TD to interception ratio to be that 4-to-1, 5-to-1 type range, just like where he was almost 6-to-1 this past year, right? So yards per attempt, take care of the football, stay in the pocket. I don't think he's the fourth expectation I have is for him, and I could be wrong, right? This is just me thinking as he develops. I don't think he's going to run as much. I still think he's going to be as big of a threat as he was last year, but he had like 885 yards rushing, and that's before that's after you take away the sack yards, right? So who knows what that was? Maybe over 1,000 if you include sack yards. Not just because a lot of poundage comes when you run the SEC, but I think the fact that he took off too early at times led to all those yards being up there. I think if he stays in the pocket more and the ball goes downfield, naturally those yards are going to go lower, right? Rushing yards. He's still going to, I could be wrong, right? Maybe he breaks that record, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's more the 500-600 yards rushing, right? Like that's such a big part of his game, and you want to utilize it. But at the same time, with the passing, what I'm expecting to happen for him as a passer, I would expect the rushing yards to go down. I'm not saying he's not going to scramble. I'm not saying they're not going to use him as a runner. They certainly are. It's a huge part of the game. I expect the rushing yards to go down, the attempts to go down, for the simple fact I think the passing is going to improve. Last thing I expect And I think if you all these 3 to 4 expectations that we just mentioned, where passing yards go up, rushing yards go down, you stay in the pocket, let plays develop, push the ball downfield. If all those expectations happen, I expect more games like last year, the games that he played, where he played against Florida, Ole Miss, and Alabama, that 3-game stretch. Like that 3-game stretch was as good as any 3-game stretch in the country, arguably, right? So I expect more of those type of games. And he had some, medium games and had some games that were kind of, down, right? That he didn't play great. Arkansas, A&M, right? So I expect more games like the Florida, Bama, and Ole Miss type games where he's putting up big numbers, they're scoring a lot of points, and they're beating really good teams. That's my expectation, right? So if he's able to meet the expectations I'm putting forward, then you can expect more of those games. But regardless, I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in not just SEC, but in college football, and that's an expectation. You're hearing a lot of good things about Jayden Daniels, during the offseason, from the improvements he made to the next steps he's taken, and we're going to see that really soon. But I think the expectations, these are all fair expectations. These are all next step expectations. But LSU fans, SEC, college football fans, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you expect Jayden Daniels to do. Did I miss something? Should we be expecting something else? Because I think if he plays like I just talked about, they're probably going to win the SEC West and probably going to have a good position in the playoffs this year. But again, that's if these expectations are met. And one thing I missed, one thing that I think is worth saying, these expectations are not easy, but easier done when you have the receiving core like LSU has, right? So the ability that he doesn't have to necessarily do this all on his own, he doesn't have to take these big steps on his own. He's a lot of talented players around him, certainly does help. So again, let me know your thoughts, college football fans. Let me know in the comments below, what are your expectations of Daniels? What quarterback do y'all want to see next? We'll kind of keep this train going, and we'll see you next time on the next quarterback-related video. Peace.